Where is your home, little fox? Is it here in this grove? Or do you come to see me too? Years of searching and no new leads. The young fox has grown up. It's time for a new story. Determine how your days in this city will play out with 4 different endings. Play as Miho, a wanderer with no home of her own, seeking the truth of her past. Meet Aspen, a young woman enchanted by the power of stories. And Juliet, a lady devoted to sharing the joys of her long life with those close to her. Explore the city of Wellington in a world just a little different from ours. Make friends and make memories. Discover your past. Learn what happiness means to you. Little fox, I have but one wish. Please be happy.
My check is there. Hello, happy Monday. Welcome to what used to be the Ambassadors channel time slot. Welcome to Please Be Happy, available now on the Xbox and Windows stores for $19.99. Hello, NXT, GoldenEye, I'm an idiot. Let's go be happy. I need to turn on my fan. Please Be Happy has 14 achievements for the 1000 gamer score. Begin Chapter 1. Chapter 2. Made friends with Tommy. Who's Tommy? Oh, Tommy boy. Let's put him over here. That was loud. Hello, Dementia.
Always double check your things before you head out.
I wonder what Wellington will be like.
Fog settled over the forest, far from the villages and towns, and with it came silence. Birch trees shivered, pondering the weather, and dropped their leaves in fright. Streams bubbled, unseen by man, and babbled like the birds in the trees. In the middle of the forest was a grove, and in the middle of that grove was a log, and on that log was a frog, on a bump. It had been years since it had fallen. Once one of the proudest trees around, and now, in death, was home to an abundance of life. No Wolfenstein young blood. No, because I redeemed the codes myself. Mine. All mine. Hello, Jordan. A line of frantic ants ran to and fro. Mushrooms, cloud-like and pillowy, sprouted across one side, like a footpath for fairies. Nearby, an old toad flopped contentedly in the mud. Well, I said frog, and then a toad appeared. And inside the deep, damp hollow of the tree, something slept. traveler strolled into the grove. Their steps were slow and tired, and they spotted the log with relief. Like greeting an old friend, weary from the day's journey, the traveler sat to take a rest. Whoosh! With the scrambling of nails on rotten wood, a shadow bolted from inside the log to the tall grass nearby. The traveler watched the brush rustle as a faint patch of fur appeared within. "Hello there, friend. I didn't mean to disturb you." They held hands towards the grass, offering a piece of dried fish. At first, there was no reaction, and then first a snoot appeared, quivering. It tested the air, then followed the rest of the fox, sleek and tawny. As she took several slow steps forward, her amber eyes were alight with mistrust, but also with wild, wild curiosity. "Are you going to come back, Jordan?" The stranger sat unfazed, their offering still outstretched. They dared to meet the fox's eyes, and in that glance felt something kindred as the fox closed her jaw around the gift. A bond was made. "Maybe we aren't so different, you and I." The traveler returned the next day, and the day after that. Each day they brought some treat for their new friend. "Don't worry. Be happy." Each day, the fox's steps grew a little more trusting. Hello, retired. One day, when the traveler arrived, the fox was sitting in the clearing, waiting patiently.
Hello, my friend. Have you been waiting long?
The fox peered up at the traveler. Her amber eyes were warm and trusting. She accepted her gift of meat, gnawing at the traveler's feet then and there. "I don't know." The traveler sat, imprinting into their mind the feeling of the wood beneath them, the clean air around them, and the tender bond of companionship. This one's good so far. I'm 9 minutes in.
Where is your home, little fox? Is it here in this grove? Or do you come to see me too? This will be the last time, I'm afraid. Because I'll be going home tomorrow.
And this one's voiced, which is nice.
Home is such a small place compared to the rest of the world. Yet, it's some place I can't wait to return to. I wish I could bring you with me, little friend. I wish that you could see the world too. Your home is all around me though, isn't it? It's wherever the trees are, wherever the leaves fall. Little fox, perhaps it's you who's the more fortunate of the two of us.
All too soon, it was time for the traveler to go. As they bade goodbye to the forest and to the fox, they knew that they would not return, but that they would carry the memories with them always. The next day, the fox was sitting in the clearing, waiting patiently. Poor fox. Chapter 1.
We've now docked at Wellington Skyport. Thank you for flying with Kiwi Airlines, and we hope to see you again.
The intercom's announcement is muffled in the closet where I'm hiding, just like the clatter of the seatbelts and the chattering of the passengers getting ready to disembark. I wiggle around impatiently, sore from crouching in here for I don't even know how long it's been, hours for sure. The last few minutes always feel like they take the longest. A parade of footsteps begins to pass by outside my door. It's time. I listen carefully, waiting for a gap in the crowd. When it comes, I stand up, push the door open, and in a single movement, I give a wink to the shocked-looking lady that I stepped out in front of. She doesn't even have time to gasp before I'm out of her sight. Humans. They're always kind of slow. I nod at the smiling flight attendant as I pass by her, and then throw up my hood to cover my face. It's been a while since I last flew, but it doesn't seem like things have changed much. It's always been harder to sneak on than it is to sneak off. I follow the crowd to the end of the walkway and step out into the ground. After a long stretch, I take a deep breath and savor the fresh air after being stowed away for so long. Wellington Skyport, New Zealand.
I made it!
My breathless voice joins the pleasant hum of the skyport. A few clouds drift lazily overhead, almost within arm's reach, and the sound of the waves rolling onto the shore is like a lullaby. It makes me want to burrow into the sand and take a nap. But I can't. First, I need to get out of here, and there's one more challenge ahead. Up ahead, the snaking line of passengers splits as people are funneled into a few security stations. While I'm too far back to hear what the guards are saying, it looks like they're examining a little booklet from each traveler before letting them pass. Humans sure like processes and procedures. Hello, Billis. Welcome. To please be happy. Nice gift. I definitely don't have a booklet like that. Glancing around, I hope to find another way out. An open window would work, or even an unguarded exit. I'm pretty sneaky when I need to be. Unfortunately, it looks like the only way to leave is to go through security. Without any other option, I join one of the lines and prepare myself. I'll have to do this the old-fashioned way. The line moves briskly as passengers are cleared, one after the other, and I'm almost at the front of the queue before I know it. As the passenger in front of me approaches the booth, I listen closely.
Good afternoon. Passport, please.
Right here. It's good to be home.
I'm sure. Welcome back.
He stamps something in the man's booklet and then hands it back to him. And he continues out of the
Next.
skyport. That's me. I don't know what they do to people without any papers, but I don't want to find out. I'm sure it involves lots of questions, being escorted around, and other unpleasant stuff. Casually approaching the gate, I put on my brightest, friendliest smile, while keeping a slight distance with my breathing steady and tail calm. I'm sure I put on a convincing act.
Passport, please.
Of course!
I fumble around my pockets, pretending to look for my passport. Instead, I grab the useless, clunky phone that I've been carrying around and let it clatter on the ground at the guard's feet. As expected, he bends down to retrieve it
Oh,
for me.
let me get that for you.
And I make a run for it, bolting ahead and rushing past the security booth as quickly as I can.
Hey, you wait!
Boom!
Stop!
By the time they realize what's happened, I already have a few seconds head start. My inhuman speed, combined with the natural chaos of the skyport, should also buy me a bit of time. Still, I've got to get him off my tail. Dashing through the skyport doors and out onto the road outside, I don't even have time to take in the city. Without stopping for a breath, I run into the narrow streets while weaving between cars and shocked bystanders. Being seen by so many people like this is annoying, but it won't matter by tomorrow. Putting the thought out of my mind, I vault over a low wall onto the nearby alley and land in a crouch. Out of sight, but only for a moment. I close my eyes and relax my muscles. All feeling disappears except a slight warmth against my neck. My secret weapon. The unremarkable looking necklace is one of my only possessions and by far the most important. A certain one of the beads strung around my neck begins to heat up in response to my will, a soothing warmth flowing through my body.
Oh, what an idiot!
Is this game happy? It is very happy. Please be happy. My hands and feet begin to morph first, the fur chasing up my arms and legs as they distort and shorten. This sensation was so bizarre the first few times I tried. It's amazing how it's become second nature by now. She's like a werewolf. Closing my eyes, I let my body and head shift and turn. The face is always a little uncomfortable. My once human face changing and lengthening into a snout with some difficulty. The process complete after only a few seconds. I open my eyes, not as a human, but as a fox. Okay, she's a werefox. I dart away without waiting, far quicker on 4 legs than I ever could be on 2. Obstacles like the stack of garbage cans ahead would be a pain to get past as a human, but instead I'm able to lift between the gaps. Flit? What is flit? Or should that just be fit? F-O-I-T. No. That's move swiftly and lightly. I've never heard that before. It is a British word. Flit between the gaps without slowing down.
That's her! I know it!
Sounds like the security guard hasn't given up on me yet. I pick up the pace, running as fast as my paws will take me. His heavy breathing gets further and further away. If I don't finish this game, you're gonna throw a flit. I don't know if I'll be able to finish it tonight. I mean, I can obviously finish it if I turn on the auto and skip and all that. It just goes, flies right through. I'm just a minute or two, and I know I'm safe. I don't know where I am. It's not like I knew where I was when I started running. I almost feel bad for the guy who was chasing me. He never stood a chance. Even in the crowded city streets, there's no way for anyone or anything that can outrun me. The wind just wishes it could keep up with me. Comfortable that the danger has passed, I slip into another alley. Once I'm sure I'm alone, I close my eyes and concentrate on the form I want to take once more. A familiar flowing warmth runs through me again, my body stretching and deforming at my command. A few seconds later, and I open my eyes and glance at my hands.
Better luck next time.
Brushing the dust off myself, I nonchalantly stroll out of the alleyway and back into the streets. The odd person walks by on this errand or another, not paying any attention to me, just the way I like it.
Left, right, past turn, left.
Mapping out my path in my head, I look for a way to the main roads. It'll be easier to get my bearings there. I pick turns at random, without any real destination in mind. When I decided to make the journey to Wellington, it was pretty impulsive. I'd overheard another pair of travelers talking about it and how beautiful a city it is. With a moment now to take in the scenery, I can see they weren't wrong. The streets around here seem like a mix of homes and businesses. Everything is very colorful. Even the brick walls are covered in pictures and paint. In the distance, I can see green hills that are lined with houses, as well as green hills that are completely empty. There are a lot of hills. Now, I look around some. From just a few streets away, the sound of pedestrians and busy intersections floats my way. I head in its direction, taking shortcuts through yards and driveways when it's convenient. In one lawn, a big dog growls at me as I walk past. but when I transform and growl right back at it, he tucks his tail and runs away. Dogs and I have always had an understanding. After squeezing through one last narrow side street, I finally emerged onto what looks like a main road. There's no cars here, but tons of people on foot. There are brightly colored signs and decorations on most of the buildings. In the middle street, there are fountains and benches and trees and all kinds of stuff. Oh my. The best part of the variety of stores, when I stroll past a few of the windows and peek in, I can already tell that I'll be able to do most of my shopping around here. There are stores with food, with clothes, and with just about everything else. I don't have any money on me, but that isn't exactly a problem. Don't steal, kids. What is a problem that's too crowded? Dodging a couple of security guards is one thing, but trying to escape down a busy street with lots of people could be too much even for me. I'll just have to remember where this place is and make another visit later. After all, the shops are closed. Then, a man in a bright coat hurries past me, talking loudly on his phone in a language I don't recognize. Hola, ¿qué tal? ¿Dónde está el bibliotaco? Bibliotaco. He's so distracted he doesn't even notice when his wallet falls out of his pocket and onto the sidewalk. I notice, of course. Seeing an opportunity, I zip over and snatch it up. Prying open the back leather pockets, I find...
Score!
Money, 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 money! A couple of bills and what I figured is a local currency. I slide the money out and into a pocket of my jacket. Your passport was received. Nice. I don't have a passport. By now, the man is so far ahead that he's almost out of sight. I have to hurry to catch him to give him back his wallet, and he barely even says thank you.
I should have just kept the whole thing.
It's only fair that I get a little something for myself, since it's not like he would have even gotten it back without me. I head back to my bench and inspect my prize. A blue bill and a brown one. These feel sturdy, nothing like the paper I expected.
1, 0, 10, and 5. So 15.
15 isn't much. I definitely should have kept the whole wallet. Oh well, at least this should be enough to buy myself something to drink. My thirst is starting to get the better of me. I haven't had anything since I snuck onto the airship. Following my nose, I walk down the busy street until I find one of the many cafes lining the path. The sign hanging over above its front door has a picture of a bell on it. A charming bell rings out from above the door as I enter. I can't help but savor the wave of refreshing, cool air washing over me, which feels even better after so much running.
Hiya! Welcome to the Bell House.
The Bell House. The barista behind the counter is the only other person in the store right now. As I nod in greeting, she leans forward with a cup in one hand and a pen in the other.
What can I get you? We're having a special on affogatos if you want to try one.
What's an affogato? Let's look that up. Affogatos. It's a dessert. Italian dessert of vanilla ice cream or a gelato drowned in hot espresso. That sounds good.
Usually, they're like $7, but today, they're only 5. I'd like a...
I'm not sure what an affogato is. Isn't that a vegetable? Not wanting to commit to the strange sounding drink, I looked at the menu instead. Unfortunately, it's full of handwritten, spindly letters. I can't read a single word, and there are no helpful pictures. Safe option it is.
I'll just have a vanilla latte. Ugh, boring. But okay. Name? Miho.
It's my first time testing out how that name sounds, and I decide that I like it. I decided on the airship that that was the name I would use here in Wellington. I've used so many names throughout my life that I can't remember most of them. For each new city that I visit, I come up with something new. Foxes don't have any use for names, so nobody ever gave me one. She scribbles something on the cup with a black marker. If that's how this name looks, then I'm even more pleased with it. Jessie got some mad experiments. I will send that your way.
$4.50, please.
I hand her the brown bill, and she gives me back a big coin with a picture of a boat on it.
All right. I'll have this ready for you in no time.
She sure seems enthusiastic. I nod as she spins around and starts working. Looking about somewhere to sit, I decide on a seat by the window with the sun pouring in. Near the entrance of the cafe, there's a wire rack with a stack of maps and tourist pamphlets, so I grab one of the maps before taking my seat. This cafe is big and bright, with plants everywhere. They're on the walls, on the floor, and on the ceiling. Most of them are real and vibrant, obviously being well cared for. Even the lights that hang down from the ceiling have glass ornaments with little shrubs in them. Seems like I made a good choice coming here. Any place with a bit of nature in it is more comfortable to me than places without.
I guess I should find a place to stay.
Looking down at the map I took, I traced the path I made from the port to this cafe. It's useful, but it doesn't really tell me anything helpful about the houses in particular. I need to find a higher vantage point. I move my finger along the hill and I notice from the outside, following that little brown path, to a patch of green with a little mountain icon. That should work for now.
Miho!
My ears perk up right as the barista arrives and places my drink in front of me.
Thanks!
I reach over and take the warm cup in my hand, but the barista doesn't let go.
You ready for the rain tomorrow? Huh? It's gonna rain tomorrow.
I glance behind me out the window. It's a sunny and blue day as I've ever seen.
How do you know that? There aren't any clouds out there. I'm just good with the weather. Anyway, if you forget, then you'll be sorry.
She finally lets go of my drink and heads back behind the counter. People are weird. Does the barista pull that on everyone? Standing on the doorstep, I have my first sip.
Oh, this is really good.
It's pretty plain, but well made. The coffee isn't too bitter, which is perfect for me. With a moment to myself, my thoughts turn inwards as I sip the warm drink. My first travelers were in search of someone, but despite my whole life being spent trying, I haven't made any progress finding them. So I've taken to simply wandering, going wherever I wish at the time. I've been itching for a change of scenery anyway. So I snuck onto, the first airship that I could. The best part about owning nothing but the clothes on my back is that I could pick up and leave whenever I feel like it. I take a moment to get my bearings and look around. I see a tired-looking person shuffling along the far footpath with a briefcase in their hand. They stop outside one of the buildings, take a deep breath, and pat their face a couple times and go inside. They must not be looking forward to whatever is going to happen in there. Maybe they have to fight someone. Through the large glass windows of another store, a fawn is trying on a pair of shoes, but they don't seem to fit her hoofs. The people waiting with her look annoyed. I wonder if she fusses around with her footwear a lot. For a while, I simply let the day roll by and watch the various figures who stroll by. People watching is fun, especially in such a busy city. Eventually, I go sip my coffee, only to find nothing coming out. With no more reason to stick around, it's time to go. On the sunlit street, I look about to match what I can see. What is Zero pinging me in? I got a ping and it's nowhere. Let me try to find this ping. Oh, I guess it's play dates. On the sunlit street, I look about to match what I can see with the map's directions. There's a tall green mountain in the distance ahead of me, which must be the one on the map. It'll be a perfect vantage point for the city. Ideally, I'll find an empty building I could crash in, but it's not necessary. A roof over my head would be nice, but I'm plenty used to sleeping outside under the stars. Sometimes it's better than sleeping in a bed. Encouraged by the plan forming in my head, I set off on the long walk to the summit. The path to the mountain turns out to be less simple than the map made it look. First, the trail takes me along the waterfront, and then it turns upwards through a small forest area. Being amongst the trees and their tall shadows makes me feel at home. When the path leaves the woods again, I'm a little disappointed. It leads up a paved road, so I stick to the edge to avoid passing cars. Sometimes I take shortcuts through yards or up unmarked paths. There are quite a few nice-looking homes right along the roadside. I make a mental note to go check them out when I'm low on money or food. Not much further along, a concrete lookout offers another glimpse of the city below. A couple airships are coming to dock at the skyport, probably from one of the other floating islands. Her descriptions of stuff is funny. There's still a ways... Whoa. What happened? Oh. There's still a ways to go to the top of the mountain. But luckily, the walk has been easy so far. I wouldn't even consider it a hike. Eventually, I reach the final stretch of the road. I can see where it curves ahead to the summit, and I hurry to the end. A mental railing spreads out like a crown on top of the mountain. As I go toss my empty cup away, a pair of chatting tourists pass me by.
How far is it from here?
Oh, about an hour from the base of Mount Victoria, so a bit further from here.
Mount Victoria.
I'm glad to know what this place is called. I say the name out loud to help commit it to memory. Standing at the edge, I treated to a wonderful view of Wellington. The city forms a crescent moon shape around the bay, which glitters like a sapphire from up here. The sun is starting to set, and that makes the water even more shimmery. Even more airships can be seen coming and going. I think that I can even see the edge of the floating island we're on, miles out on the open sky. I survey the city, using the skyport as reference. From up here, what felt like such a long chase really doesn't look far at all. If I strain my eyes, I think I can even see the coffee shop from earlier. What was it the barista said it was called? The Bell House. It's kind of tough to make out details. My hearing and sense of smell may be great, but my eyes aren't that much better than a human's. Then I noticed something useful.
Look! Is that our house?
Probably. What can you see from here?
I see Dad's car!
Not too far away, there's a little kid who's using a pair of metal tubes attached to a post. His mom is helping him aim it at the city. It must be something that improves your vision. The moment the kid and his mom leave, I hurry over before someone else can get to them first. When I press my eyes at the same spot the child did, though all I can see is black. I try moving it around, but it doesn't change. Is this thing busted? Some text printed on the side. I have no idea what it says. There's a small slot though, with a picture of a coin next to it. Lucky for me, it's the coin that has a 50 on it. I put the coin that I received from the barista into the slot and spin the lever. The machine eats my coin, and then when I put my eyes onto it again... Yes! Everything looks much closer now. Even the trees on the other side of the hill appear in crystal clear detail. I'm standing right next to one, like I'm standing right next to one of them. I aim the viewing glasses at the city and look around, trying to find a good place to rest for the night. Houses are a no-go. Even if they look empty or abandoned, you can never let your guard down for a minute. Same with most shops. I don't have enough money for a hotel, and I won't risk sneaking into one of those either. As I'm studying the sights, I try to memorize as much as I can. There's a clicking sound, and once again the view goes black. Stupid machine. I smack it a couple times, and check again, but I still can't see anything.
Well, whatever.
Whatever.
Looks like I'm sleeping outside tonight. Guess this place is as good as any.
I head back down to the trail a little bit and veer off into the underbrush.
Not perfect, but it'll do.
So where do her clothes go when she transforms into a fox? Questions. It's not exactly the wilderness, but it's just about everything around here seems cityfied to some extent. Usually when I make a den, I prefer to find a place far from other people, a place where nobody will find me. I doubt I'll find anything perfect, but this is good enough.
It's fine. Can't afford to be picky.
Once the trail I was on is out of sight, I transform again. My neck gets warm as my bead activates, and a few seconds later, boom, I'm on all fours. Where are her clothes? She has the necklace. Sus. As a fox, the sensations of nature are much stronger. The earth beneath my paws is cool and refreshing, and the breeze whips through my tail like a massage. I hurry down a hill covered in grass, so tall that it reaches way over my head. I can smell fresh water and follow the scent to a small stream where I am able to quench my thirst. It's just as satisfying as the drink I got at the cafe, but in a different way. And being able to slurp up water is way more enjoyable than having to use a straw, or worse, one of those lids with the tiny holes. For a while, I follow my nose to some berries and some edible plants that'll do for a snack. Unfortunately, unlike the water, foraging is never as satisfying as eating human food. If I want a real meal tonight, then I should pick up the pace before it gets too late. Still, I want to get this done now, while there's still daylight. I keep close to the stream and search for a place where the ground is soft. Before not too long, I find a promising area, a small valley with hills on both sides and thick foliage on the others. I'm still close enough to civilization to hear cars and other city noise, but the area I'm in doesn't seem like it gets visited very often. At the very least, it doesn't really smell like people. The spot that I settle on is a nice mound of earth near the edge of the woods, partially hidden by tall trees with low-hanging leaves. Even if no one comes by, it makes me feel better knowing that I'll be out of sight. And so I start to dig. My claws rip away the dirt as I burrow downwards, widening the tunnel just enough for my sleek frame to fit. First, I dig forward, and then downward, widening out an area that's big enough for my whole body to fit. This is something I've been doing my whole life, even back when I was just a regular fox. I think that's why I don't mind it too much, compared to sleeping inside somewhere. It just feels right. Boss fight, gonna go away. It takes a little while, and by the time I finally finish, the first few stars have started to peek out from the sky. I shake myself clean of the dirt that sticks to my coat, and then transform back into my human form.
Spread this here, a couple of branches here, some leaves there.
I walk around the valley a bit, checking from different angles.
Not bad for just an afternoon's work.
You weren't looking for it. I don't think you'd ever notice anything out of place. All that digging has made me work up an appetite, and not the kind that'll be satisfied with just a few berries.
Ugh, I'm so hungry. I haven't had a real meal since yesterday.
My stomach rumbles painfully. I've been so busy since arriving here in Wellington that I kind of forgot just how hungry I was. I'll grab some human food back in town. Casting one last glance at my afternoon's work, I set off towards the city.
Work never ends. Time to get some food!
Time to get some food. I'm a bit disappointed when I finally get back to the busy street from before. I was hoping that it would be emptier now, and all the stores would be closed. Turns out I was half right. A lot of the shops have gone dark for the evening, but there are just as many people walking around now as there were earlier. In fact, there might be even more. The patio of a restaurant has a bunch of tables full. The mermaid is sitting in the fountain I sat by earlier, chatting with the Cyclops. Even the cafe that I visited is crowded now, with a line almost out the door. After pacing up and down the road for a while, I sit down and try to figure out what next to do. Yes, that was announced today at the IGN Fest thing. I have not played it yet. I'm not too worried about what could happen if I got caught stealing. I just escape, obviously. And even if they somehow managed to catch me, it wouldn't be an issue for very long. See, there's something different about me that makes me extra good at being a thief. Not just the skills I practice over the years, like picking locks and sneaking around. No, it's a bit more special than that. Without fail, every single person I meet forgets about me by the next day. I don't know why. I don't really care either. It's magic. That's all I know about it. Really useful magic. Everywhere I go, no matter how careless I am, all of my problems are solved by the next day. That doesn't mean there's no danger. I've been caught in the act before, and beaten or harassed before I can manage to get away. I've even lost a few prizes that I stole fair and square because I had to get going in a hurry. But if someone sees me, but isn't able to stop me, I know that I'll be home free. Sure, they might remember having something stolen. They'll never know who did it. It almost makes things too easy. Right now, it would be smarter to just come back later, in the dead of night, and hope that there'd be no people around. I'd be able to take my time browsing without having to worry about making a quick escape. Where's the fun in that, though? I walk casually up and down the street, glancing into windows, without being too obvious about it. Some stores still have customers inside. Others have locked their doors and shut off the lights. Most of the restaurants are still open, and are only making me hungrier. Stealing from restaurants is a bit much even for me, though. I've tried it before, but the cluttered kitchens, as well as all the tables and chairs, make it hard to get around. Plus, I've learned the hard way that there are plenty of hot or sharp things for angry cooks to throw at you as you try to make your way out. Wow. Alright, I need to get some more water. I went through this water quick. I'll be right back. They made a physical version of it? That I didn't know. Instead, packaged and pre-made foods are my best friends. Things that I can grab multiples of at once and stuff into my pockets. If I'm really lucky, I'll find a place with refrigerated sandwiches or salads, or sometimes perfectly good hot food that gets thrown out. You wouldn't believe the kind of stuff that's available. If you don't mind sifting through the trash a little bit. It's not ideal, of course, but a hot meal is a hot meal, and I know plenty of foxes who've eaten much worse.
Target spotted.
It's perfect. A small convenience store, snacks lined up behind the front window. Even better, the shops on either side are closed too, so there's not many other people in the area.
Locked, huh? Not surprising.
I head down a nearby alley to find the back door, which is probably where they bring new products. The alleyway is dark to begin with, and my dark clothes help me hide even better. I glance around the alley, glad, like always, for my excellent night vision. That's funny. Nobody's watching, nobody's even around. I pull my hood up over my ears and tuck my tail between my legs. Leaning against the sturdy door, to anyone not looking closely, I'm sure, appear as nothing more than a shadow. I dig around my pockets until I find my trusty lockpick, and then set to work on the door. It isn't a complicated lock at all. Just a regular keyhole. With a click, the latch springs open, and just a few moments later,
Bingo.
bingo! I try to tug the door towards me, but there's a chain on the inside that keeps it from opening very wide. There's no way a human could fit through the gap, but it would be easy for a fox. First, I slink away for a bit, idling on the nearby street like a regular pedestrian. I wait to see if anyone shows up, just in case I triggered a silent security system. After about 10 minutes, I decide it's safe. I transform under the cover of darkness in the alley and slip into the building before transforming back. The shop isn't very big, and the receiving area is just a small hallway with a few boxes of soda and candy bars on the floor. I grab a couple of my favorites and shove them into my pockets. When I creep into the main area, I make sure to stay low on the ground, trying to avoid being seen from outside. I'm not exactly hidden, but as long as I don't stand up, I shouldn't attract any attention. I move fast, cramming as much into my coat as I can. Cookies, protein bars, popcorn. I'm not very picky. When my coat starts to feel pretty heavy, I grab a plastic bag from behind the counter and transfer some of my loot into there. I also take a few bottles of water and sports drinks from the coolers. Just as I'm about to leave, I spot a few of those covered plastic wrapped sandwiches that I was thinking about earlier.
Jackpot!
I fill my bag with sandwiches until it's almost overflowing, and then I head back out the way I came in. In total, I was in and out in under 5 minutes, and I've got enough supplies to last me several days. When I step into the alley, I glance around both directions, making sure no one saw me emerge from the store. I don't see anyone, but my neck prickles as if someone is watching me. I sniff the air, but don't notice anything out of the ordinary. Nothing that wasn't there before. Still. Suddenly, there's a flap of wings, and a bat flutters past me from out the shadows. It goes right over my head and disappears from sight up into the street.
Oh, that's it?
I let out the breath I've been holding and start making my way back towards the mountain where I made my den. I let the bag swing from my arm as I walk, whistling a song I heard earlier. I'm not able to keep a smile off my face.
All in all, not a bad first day. I've got a nice nest, food to spare, and plenty of places to explore tomorrow.
There have been plenty of days in my life where I had none of those things. I unwrap one of the sandwiches that I grabbed and take a big bite.
Nothing beats the taste of hard work.
Don't steal, kids. I hope Wellington continues to treat me well while I'm here.
So tired.
Oh, tired.
I'm gonna sleep so well tonight.
I unpack everything that I got from the store, as well as the treasures that I always carry with me. My lockpick, my wallet, and a few pretty stones. The only thing that I leave in my jacket is a small scroll.
Can't get that damaged or dirty.
I change back into a fox and dig another hole near the entrance to my den. This one is much simpler and shallow. I bury some of the snacks that I stole before covering them back up with dirt.
Not like anyone's gonna come by and swipe my things, but better safe than sorry. I stole this myself after all.
Don't steal.
Don't want it being stolen from me.
Stuff like my pen and my favorite rock go in the burrow with me, since I like having them close by. Once I've got everything where it belongs, I climb into the hole myself, turning a few circles before settling down with my tail wrapped around me. From here, I have a perfect view of the stars. I look up at the clear night sky through the mouth of the tunnel. I feel bad for all the people way down in the underworld.
Can they even see the stars from there?
I've never been to the underworld, so I have no idea. I can't imagine falling asleep without them. Comfortable and safe, I close my eyes and quickly slip off to dreamland. I wake up to trouble, or at least a threat. I'm sure it's only morning as I peer into the burrow's entrance, but the sky is already dark and foreboding. My attention moves from the ominous rain clouds above the trees outside my den, the branches shaking in the strong breeze.
I can't believe that girl from the cafe was right!
I climb up the tunnel and into the open, sniffing the air. It just tells me what I already know. A storm is coming, and fast. But also, another scent plays my nose. One so faint that I almost brush it off before taking another smell. Surely I'm wrong. There's no way that... Lowering my snout to the ground, I investigate the area, and then decide I'm right. I change into my human form and look around.
Someone's been here.
Yes, someone's definitely been here. But the scent isn't human. It's vaguely familiar, at the same time, not like anything I recognize.
And it definitely wasn't here when I went to sleep.
They must have come here in the night and stopped right outside my den.
Were they watching me sleep? Oh crap!
As a fox, I dive back in my hole to make sure everything is still there. My heart pounds in my chest, but nothing appears to be missing. I also check the spot where I buried my stash from last night. That hasn't been disturbed either. I breathe a sigh of relief. If any of my stuff had been stolen, I'd be so mad. But that still doesn't answer the question of what they did want. And that's even more concerning. I'm a pretty light sleeper, and usually the slightest sound or motion will wake me up. So if someone was able to sneak up on me, even I have to be impressed. And a little bit worried. I've got a more pressing issue right now, though, and I stare up at the sky in disappointment.
Ugh, I hate the rain.
I would have found a different place to make my nest and hide my supplies if I'd known this would have happened. Instead, both burrows will probably just be piles of mud at the end of today.
I should have found a place with a roof after all.
I fill my pockets with most of my important possessions and some of the food I grabbed last night. Everything else I will wrap as tightly in the plastic bag as I can and bury them in my den. Hopefully, I can find somewhere fast and then move everything else over before it gets ruined. An abandoned house would be perfect, or some other place where I'd be able to hide. I'm just about to get going when a loud flapping sound overhead catches my attention. I expect it to be a bird, but instead, it's another bat. This one's even bigger than the one I saw last night, and its wings are way longer and noisier. I can even hear it squeaking something as it flies past. Some people say bats and foxes are similar. I don't see it. I watch it fly around for a little while before it takes off towards the city.
Maybe it knows somewhere to stay. Guess I'll follow it for now.
A couple times it disappears between the trees, or just too far ahead, but I always manage to catch back up. Eventually, we're out of the woods and back into civilization, where cars whizzes right past me. There's a sidewalk here, and other people walking around. Most of them look up to the sky nervously, though, and everyone seems to be in a hurry.
Guess I'm not the only one looking to get away from the rain.
I'm just about to get going when a loud flapping sound overhead catches my attention. I expect it to be a bird, but instead, it's yet another bat. It's like the same sentence from before. More people seem to be going in the direction I was heading than anywhere else, so I'll stick to that. By now, my winged guide is almost out of sight again. Just a little black speck in the sky flying into the distance. Further up this road, there's a slope that leads to a big, fancy-looking building. It doesn't look like a shop or restaurant, at least not one that I've ever seen. But there are so many people going in and out that it has to be open to the public. That's good enough for me. It'll give me somewhere dry to spend some time, and maybe I can learn something useful. Plus, places like this usually have plenty of valuables inside. If I'm lucky, I might be able to find somewhere to fund my next few days. Don't steal, even if you're a fox. After all, the bigger the target, the less likely are to notice something's missing. Afternoon. The sturdy oak door isn't as heavy as it looks, a firm push being enough to heave it open. Gingerly stepping inside and out of the rain, I'm greeted by books, lots of books. Books on shelves, books on tables, books on the floor, books everywhere. This place even smells of musty old paper, and the dozen or so people inside are mostly leafing through pages in the aisles. The odd silence about the building is striking, given how many are around. It doesn't look like a shop, so I assume this must be a library. I've heard of them, but never been in one. No point, since I can't read and all. But it's warm and cozy, and very dry, so it'll do just fine. There's a desk near the entrance with a computer on it, and I assume would be where I check in. It's unattended, which is good for me. I take a seat in an empty chair nearby and sit back just to observe for a bit. There are plenty of people, but it's not too busy. Lots of empty, unwatched spaces. Most folks seem to be here alone, or in small groups that keep to themselves. There's not much conversation going on, and what there is all whispered. Nobody gives me a second glance, which is a good sign. It means I'm probably not breaking any rules by just being here. Behind the desk, there's a hallway leading deeper into the building. I peek around the corner to see what's back there. All I can see are some shut doors, and at the very back, a staircase. After glancing around to make sure no one's watching, I sneak down the hall and try a couple of the doors. All of them are locked. I could probably pick them if I wanted to. No sense trying to do that now, though. Is there anything more valuable around? An antique clock or vase would be perfect. Sadly, it's almost all books. Books and small trinkets that look pretty worthless. Not even worth the trouble stealing. At least it's got a roof. I do spot a couple promising items, like a set of old coins. And I memorized their locations. I wander back to the main area, where I came in. Outside, it hasn't started raining yet, but it's only a matter of time. The wind is loud and gusty, and even opening the door is enough to make me shiver. Nothing else, I could probably wait out the rain here. But, my poor abandoned snacks. Back at the den, what a waste. Can't do anything about it now, though. I should keep looking around. I move slowly through the area, never going beyond what seems to be the public area. I pretend to inspect a few books, taking them off the shelves and flipping through the pages, but I'm actually mapping out the place in my head. Doors, windows, and potential places to hide, things like that. Most of the time, this kind of info is unnecessary. It's been at least a few decades since I've had to make a dramatic escape from anywhere. At this point, plotting an escape route is just a habit. Overall, I like what I'm seeing, even with the locked doors and off-limit hallways. There are a lot of nooks and crannies that would make good hiding spots, especially for a fox. From the thick dust that coats a lot of these areas, I could tell they don't get a whole lot of visitors. If I'm careful, I might be able to go a whole week or more without being noticed. As long as I can get in and out of the building easily, that is. And with the huge windows that line the back wall, that seems easy enough. I weave around a couple shelves that are taller than I am, heading for the far back corner. I peer around the corner of just the last aisle to make sure I'm alone. But I'm not. A small table by the window sits a woman with a small book in her hand, resting against her fingers. She's perfectly still, but mouths the words on the pages she reads like she's tasting them instead of just seeing them. Her expression has the distant look of someone way off in their own world, far away from this one. She looks so at peace that I think she must belong in that, she must belong in that other world. She's beautiful and elegant in the same way as a painting, with the light from the window shining on her like a display. I duck back behind the bookshelf, pressing one hand on my racing heart. My other bumps against one of the books on the shelf, and it falls with a dusty thump. Cursing my clumsiness, I silently back away in case she decides to investigate, but she doesn't leave her chair.
I suppose it's nothing.
She turns and gazes out the open window. At what? I don't know. A moment later, she returns to her book and leaves this world again. I stay hidden, my face still burning a little bit. Yes, I think this will be the perfect place to spend some time. Suddenly, there's a much louder boom than the one I caused. As thunder rumbles outside, a few people look around the library, startled at the sound, and look around. A few people around the library are startled. Sighing, the girl in the chair pulls the window beside her close, the first drops of rain falling not a minute later. Yes, who's back? I'll investigate the window later. Right now, I don't want to bother her, so I head back to one of the plush chairs on the other side of the library and take a seat. I could be here a while, depending on how long the rain lasts. I might as well get company. I find a few books that have more pictures than words and curl up in one of the soft chairs and flip through them. There aren't as many of those ones, and I go through the stack pretty fast. It takes long enough for the rain to start, though. The longer I read, the louder the pounding of the rain and the howling of the wind become. I guess it's not letting up anytime soon. I can't complain, though. This library is pretty cozy by my usual standards. It's warm and safe, and nobody tells me to go away. I even have snacks. More than once, I get up and walk around the library again, even though I've got most of it memorized by now. I take note of things like a child's stuffed toy that's lying on the floor in one section, or a thin blanket that's stuffed between a bookshelf and the wall. On my third or fourth trip around, I finally find something I'd been looking for. In one of the far corners, totally opposite from where I saw the reading girl earlier, there's a single chair on a small table. On the wall nearby is a portrait. The painting itself is a girl with light brown hair. But I'm barely paying any attention to that. What I'm interested in is the frame. It's lovely. It looks like it might be made of gold. It certainly shines like it. It's carved intricately into the shape of waves flowing up and down. It's got to be worth something. I pretend not to pay much attention to it as I make my way back to my table. There are too many other people around for me to be able to try to sneak it out. It's too big to fit under my jacket without being obvious. That just means I'll have to come back some other time, maybe once this place is closed. Who is she going to sell that to if she buys it? Or steals it? The hours pass by, and the storm continues. I'm kind of disappointed about losing a whole day, especially so soon after arriving, but it's not like I'm in any sort of hurry. I pat one of my pockets, feeling the familiar and reassuring weight of the paper scroll that's tucked away there. That scroll is the only thing close to a purpose that I have, and it's not particularly urgent, or at least I don't have any way to deal with it faster. I spend a long time reading. It's almost afternoon when I go check the windows again, but the rough weather outside continues. At this rate, I'll be sleeping in a puddle of mud tonight. Unless... A quick check shows that a lot of the other library patrons have left. It's not empty, but it's not nearly as full as earlier. Guess some of them decided it was worth braving the rain. Looking as nonchalant as I can, I get up from my seat and pretend to browse again, slowly moving through the shelves. The reading girl is gone, although she's not what I was looking for. Instead, I pick up the dropped toy and blanket that I spotted earlier, and then head to one of the out-of-the-way hiding spots I picked out before. It's on the floor between a shelf and the wall, but it has a bit of carpet to help make it softer. Even better, it's between two corner shelves, meaning that it's practically out of sight if you're not looking for it. I wriggle my way in between the furniture and lie down. Using the toy as a pillow and draping the blanket over me, I toss and turn a few times before finally settling down.
Yep, not bad at all.
Even though I haven't done much today, I'm always down to take a nap. Naps are great. I can pass a few hours by sleeping, wake up once it's dark, and then grab that picture frame and be on my way. I'll have to rebuild my den once I get back, but that's a problem for future me. I yawn, staring up the ceilings until my eyes get heavy.
Maybe today won't be a total waste after all.
The soft sound of cloth rustling wakes me from a dreamless sleep. How did someone sneak up on me twice now? I don't know how long it's been. The sky outside has darkened significantly, and now stars twinkle outside the window. There's no time to react as the sound comes closer. I hear no footsteps, but suddenly a woman steps into view. Her clothes are pure white, making her stand out like a ghost in the dark library. Her cape rustles again as she reaches towards one of the shelves. One of the shelves I'm hiding behind, to be precise. Gingerly, she moves two books to the side and then slides another book into the space she created. She handles them like precious treasures that might break if she's too rough. I stay perfectly still, afraid to even breathe in case she notices me. My heart beats wildly as she slowly and deliberately looks over the shelf, examining their titles before taking a book from the second lowest row. Through the gap she creates in the shelves, our eyes meet in the darkness. Dun dun dun. Oh no! I tense up as she steps around the shelving between us to get a better look at me, preparing myself to leap away if the need arises. The carefully memorized layout of the library flashes through my mind as I frantically plot the best way to flee. Even as I prepare my escape, I could see her taking in everything about me: the stolen blanket, the makeshift pillow, me generally disheveled appearance, my generally. Stop hitting the bumper. She opens her mouth. As I brace myself for the verbal attack that's sure to come,
Hello there. May I ask why you're sleeping on the floor?
it doesn't matter what I say. Just distract her enough to get away.
I don't have anywhere else to sleep.
It's a good answer.
I thought so.
She leans down and offers me a hand. I look at it warily. I don't take it, but I slowly stand, letting the blanket fall to my feet, and trying to subtly get into position to run.
Well, I have an extra room on the second floor that you're welcome to borrow, if you'd prefer that. Otherwise, you're more than welcome to remain here, on the ground. I apologize for waking you.
With a smile, the oddly calm woman steps away and busies herself organizing another row of books. She probably expects me to let my guard down and take her offer. I'm just a stranger, someone who broke into her library. There's no reason for her to treat me kindly. My years of experience, and there are plenty of those, tell me it's a trap.
Thanks, but no thanks. I'll just be going, actually. Sorry to bother you like this.
I hurry past her, shoulders tense as I expect her to grab me or try to stop me. She doesn't. One time I glance back, she's watching me with a strange expression that I don't recognize. When I get outside, away from the library, I breathe a sigh of relief.
Whew, that was close. I'm not falling for that one again.
The last time I let someone feel sorry for me and accepted a place to stay, I woke up to them trying to empty my wallet. I may be a thief, but at least I do it honestly. I wouldn't try to trick someone like that. That wasn't the first time someone tried to fool me and take advantage of me either.
Still, it's a shame to lose such a nice hiding place. Maybe I'll give it a couple days for that woman to forget about me, and then try again. If she wasn't lying about there being an empty room on the second floor, then maybe I could sneak into there. Tonight,
though, I'm on my own. Shivering, I wrap my coat and tail tightly around myself as I think about what to do next. The rain has stopped. Although it's still cold and cloudy, my stomach grumbles since I haven't eaten anything other than snacks all day. Blech. I may as well get it over with and go check on the status of my den.
Well, it could be worse.
It's not as bad as I expected, which is a pleasant surprise.
What's a little mine? It'll be just fine.
I swapped my fox form to prod around. The entrance is caved in a little, but after I scoop that out, I find that the rest of the tunnels and main room are relatively intact. Cold as hell, but intact. Seems like the trees protected the den from a lot of the rain. It takes me a while to find the spot where I buried my stash, since the stick I used to mark the spot got washed away. Hola, nighttime. Eventually, I locate it, though, and start digging. The cold mud makes my paws dirty and sore, and a little flecks cover my fur. After I finally reach the soggy plastic bag, I shake myself clean before opening them as a human. Me gusta tu ropa. Ropa's shirt? Ropa. Close. That was close. Some of the water seeped through, and I opened the spoiled items before tossing them away. I'm not too picky, but I have plenty of other snacks to choose from.
Eat up, birdies!
A few of them swooped down to inspect the offering. I scarfed down a quick meal of cookies and unwarmed soup. Gross. Along with some cold water from the stream. At least the water is satisfying. Then, even though I just woke up from a nap not too long ago, I shift back into my fox form and crawl into my den and curl up. I'm sure it'll be a while before I fall asleep, but I don't feel like going back into town. I've had enough excitement for one day. This isn't all that bad. Regular foxes without magic powers have it way worse than I do. Although back when a fox was all I was, I wouldn't have really cared. To this day, I'm not sure what it is that makes me different. I used to be just like them, no desire to go beyond the forest or anything. And then one day, I became whatever I am now. All I had was my necklace, a small scroll that I can't read, and the memory of the person who had given it to me. They were so kind to me, that stranger in the forest. They wished me well, even though I was just an ordinary fox. Somehow, that didn't seem to matter to them. I never even knew their name, just their face and their voice. But I know that I'll recognize them when I see them again. It's just a matter of finding them. So since then, I've been looking and surviving. Looking for them is what keeps me going. It's enough to live for. If I wasn't, I don't know what else I'd be doing. I guess I'll just be surviving. But if that was the only thing, I think I'd rather have just stayed a fox. Standing outside my den in human form, I take stock of how things stand. The sun's thankfully out this morning, but everything remains damp from the ground to the muggy air itself. The chill on the breeze is the worst, making me shiver every time it hits me. The Bell House was pleasant when I visited a couple days ago, so I decided to head down towards the main street and get a coffee there while working out my next moves. Coming to the door of the cafe, I pause and wipe my feet on the mat outside. Human fascination with surrounding themselves in concrete makes it a little more sense as I work the mud off my feet. With that, I finally head inside, only to stop in my tracks as the door shuts behind me. Standing behind the counter is the same girl who I saw reading in the library yesterday. Talking with the customer as she takes the order, that gentle aura about her is unmistakable. The person in front of me finishes their order, and I step up to the counter.
Good morning. Welcome to the Bell House. What can I make for you today? Oh, hi. I'll have...
A vanilla latte? No, that's boring.
What do you recommend? I want to try something new. I'm glad you asked. I was just thinking that you look like the sort of person who would enjoy one of our Fairy Kiss chillers.
Ooh.
It's one of our signature drinks, with a vanilla gelato base and a mint chocolate chip swirl.
I was planning to get something warm, but that does sound pretty good.
Okay, give me one of those then.
Does she have enough money?
Perfect. And could I get your name, please? It's Miho.
She scribbles something onto the cup and finishes it with a big flourish.
I'll have that right out for you. Thanks.
She didn't ask for money. I pay and then go take in the same seat as before, next to one of the windows. It's pretty empty here again, so I can sit wherever I want. Before the barista starts making my drink, I spot her writing something else in a little book. She glances my way once or twice while she does, but I pretend not to notice. I wonder what it is. The barista yesterday didn't write anything down. Anyway, I've got more important things on my mind. I'm all over the plan, which formed as I walked here, becoming increasingly happy with it. Tonight, I've already decided I'm going to sneak back into that library. Between that picture frame and some of the other trinkets I saw, I should be able to pilfer enough to fund my next few days in Wellington. Finding somewhere to sell it should be the easy part. I've got a dozen excuses that I can recite about where the items came from. Dead grandma, spring cleaning, new renovations. Sometimes I try extra hard and pretend that the things I'm selling are really special to me and earn a bit more cash that way. Sometimes I just take whatever they give me. After years of watching other humans do it and trying it out myself, I've gotten good at pawning items off. I find myself idly watching the barista make my drink. While I do, I practice a disarming smile. All of her movements are quick and practiced, but she has that same fairway look in her eyes I noticed yesterday. She looks up, and our eyes meet. I don't look away. She turns pink, before ducking away behind the machine, out of sight.
Huh. Weird girl.
You're the weird one. I turn my head around to look around the cafe, and a butterfly outside catches my attention, so I watch that instead. It flutters back and forth, landing on a flower and resting its wings.
Mio!
Oh, my coffee's ready. I quickly get up and skip over to the counter. Cup in hand, she starts to head over to give it to me. Within, several things happen at once. One of the little tassels on the pocket of her apron catches one of the drawers behind the counter, and she jerks to a stop, eyes wide with surprise. And my drink tumbles out of her hand, landing on the counter with a wet gloop sound as the ice cream splats against it, sending mint green rivers of coffee everywhere. A few seconds pass. Where we just look at each other, neither of us quite sure what to do, and then she takes a deep breath.
I am so sorry. I'll make you a replacement right away. Just give me 1 second and I'll have that ready for you.
Her words spill out faster than the beverage, making it hard to even understand what she is saying. Her face is bright red as she spins back around and grabs another empty cup. Then she stops, hands hovering awkwardly.
Wait, I should clean this up before it dries and starts to go bad.
She hurries back to the mess, wiping at it with some napkins. She mops up as much of it as she can with one hand, and then leaves the soggy paper on the counter while she starts to remake my drink.
I'm really sorry. This is such an embarrassment.
I don't even know if she's talking to me or herself. I freeze up for a second, looking for an appropriate response to an apology. I'm not used to people apologizing to me.
Oh, it's fine. I'm not in a hurry.
Instead, I just sit back down at one of the tables and watch. She makes the drink twice as fast, and then carries over slowly to the counter, setting it down in a clean spot. This time she takes a deep breath before speaking, like she's afraid she's gonna mess it up too.
All right, here's your drink. Again, I'm very sorry.
Okay.
This is your first time here, isn't it? I hope it doesn't leave a bad impression.
Second, actually. Yesterday was the first time. How'd you know?
I make an effort to remember as many of our customers as I can, as well as their favorite orders. I believe you can learn a lot about a person from how they drink their coffee.
Well, that's too bad, because she won't remember me at all next time. I take a big sip of the drink she made for me. It's creamy and rich and sweet all at the same time.
Whoa, this is really good. It's kind of like a milkshake, but not. But it's not like coffee either.
Yes, exactly. I'm very glad that you like it. It's one of my favorite beverages that we serve. In fact, the recipe was my idea.
Whoa! They should put you in charge of all the recipes.
She smiles again. Seems like she's gotten over the crisis of the spilled drink.
Thank you. I'll make you another one of my favorites next time, if you'd like.
I would like that.
Totally.
At least I'll know what to order next time, even though all have been forgotten. I'm already thinking of this place as my go-to coffee shop, especially since it's convenient. With tasty drinks and cute baristas, I don't have a reason to go anywhere else. Good reasons. The knocking sound from the employee area gets both our attention.
Hey, Aspen, can you start another batch of croissants?
Oh, sure. I'll be right there.
She calls back over her shoulder and looks back at me briefly.
Have a nice day, Miho.
Have a nice day, son.
You too.
With a wave, she gathers the trash from the cleanup and throws that away before disappearing into the back. So her name is Aspen. That's a pretty name. I'll have to try and remember that. Getting up from my seat, I decide to head back outside for some fresh air, sipping my fairy kiss chiller as I go. I head out the door and onto the increasingly busy main street. I already know my plans for tonight, but I've still got some time to kill before then. What should I do? Alright, I think this is time for me to save. Did it save? Alright, this has been Please Be Happy. Available now on the Xbox and Windows Store for $19.99. I'm going to switch over to Idle for the rest of the evening. I'll be back tomorrow after work. Stay safe. Happy gaming. Peace.
Where's your home, little fox? Is it here in this grove? Or do you come to see me too? Years of searching and no new leads. The young fox has grown up. It's time for a new story. Determine how your days in this city will play out with 4 different endings. Play as Miho, a wanderer with no home of her own, seeking the truth of her past. Meet Aspen, a young woman enchanted by the power of stories. And Juliet, a lady devoted to sharing the joys of her long life with those close to her. Explore the city of Wellington in a world just a little different from ours. Make friends and make memories. Discover your past. Learn what happiness means to you. Little fox, I have but one wish. Please be happy.